In the 2010 midterm elections, Republicans took control of the House and made it their mission to gut the IRS. Republicans like to hold up the IRS as the boogeyman of government and use cuts as a symbol for their anti-tax, small government agenda. But in reality, cutting the IRS's budget helps the rich cheat on their taxes and is bad for everyone else.
Adjusting for inflation and population growth, between 2011 and 2017, Republicans forced cuts to the IRS of 22%. This has had enormous ripple-through effects all over the IRS. Over that period, new investigations into households that didn't file any tax returns dropped from 2.4 million to just above 360,000. From 2011 through 2017, the number of IRS enforcement workers actually decreased by more than 12,000, a cut of 27%. And what we've seen is an enormous drop in audit rates, but it's dropped fastest for the ultra-rich. The audit rate for households making over 1 million has dropped nearly 70%, and the audit rate for households making between $200,000 and $500,000 has dropped 74%, to the point where it's actually now the same rate as it is for households making below $25,000. It is really bad that you are as likely to be audited if you make below $25,000 as you are if you're making between $200,000 and $500,000.
And this was all deliberate. In fact, in 2009, the IRS created a special team to go after tax cheats among the ultra-wealthy. But this left many rich people concerned, and they took their complaints directly to the American Bar Association, which lobbied the IRS to cut back on the program. In 2012, the IRS had planned to assign 242 special examiners to the group, but by 2018, the group had only 58 specialists.
Fundamentally, civilization relies on the understanding and belief that we all contribute and we all benefit. When people cheat by not contributing, that has deleterious effects throughout society. And if the problem becomes widespread enough, everything starts to really fall apart.
But beyond the social harm, there's also a direct monetary cost. The government literally takes in less money because fewer people pay taxes. In fact, cutting IRS funding actually loses the government money rather than saving it.
The IRS has produced estimates of how much additional revenue enforcement funding would bring in. So we use their estimates, but going in the opposite direction to get a sense of how much revenue we likely lost from cutting IRS funding. Between 2011 through 2017, the US government was out roughly $101 billion from these IRS cuts, $24 billion in 2017 alone. In addition to furthering income inequality and fraying social fabrics, this money also isn't being used for more useful things like directly helping individuals. In 2017 alone, the lost money would have been enough to cover free healthcare for 4 2/3 million people. It would have been enough to cover housing for more than 2.5 million households. It would have been enough to cover nutrition assistance for 12.5 million people.
While the IRS may not be everyone's favorite government agency around tax day, a properly funded and functioning IRS is absolutely critical to ensuring that all Americans pay their fair share in taxes and that we collect the revenue we need as a society to make critical public investments.